Hello lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. If you're new here, I'm Jackie. Hi. I hope that you stay and I hope you like my videos and I hope that you come and join the tribe. You'll have to excuse the wind. I'm out in nature as always. So I wanted to do this video just to speak about something and just discuss it really, even though it's not really a discussion because I'm just kind of speaking to you, but maybe you can let me know in the comments your thoughts about this, because I've kind of realized that I am vegan, yet I am speciesist to an extent, and I just wanted to speak about this because it's something that I spoke about in my response video to Tim Sheaf, which I uploaded and then took down again because I just thought, this is going to be taken so the wrong way. So I just wanted to do a separate video about it, because Tim was saying about how he is now of the belief that in a way he's causing less suffering to animals by eating cows or whatever, like, because he's saying about like the bugs and the small creatures in fields being killed when the crops are harvested. And this is like always a kind of argument that non-vegan people will kind of throw at you, like, well, you're causing more harm because think of all the hundreds and thousands of insects that you're killing every time you harvest your crops and whatnot. And I just wanted to speak to this really because, would help if I held the camera so you could see me. Because, there's a few points about this that I just want to point out right off the bat, because the issue with this is that grass-fed cows actually get fed grain towards the end of their lives anyway to fatten them up. So you have to harvest the grain to feed the cows anyway, whether they're grass-fed or not. Secondly, the fields that these cows are in are harvested once the cows have gone, so that the grass can be used for silage. Silage. I don't know that word. So they harvest the grass anyway. So it's kind of like an invalid point because those fields are being harvested anyway. And also for cows, there's a big difference between kind of intentionally sexually abusing innocent beings to breed them into existence, to then murder them for your consumption, intentionally, purposely, consciously doing that, than having some accidental deaths when you're harvesting crops. Because obviously, like, veganism, it's like within reason, like we need to eat plants. And so, do you know what I mean? And so the other piece that Tim was speaking about was that he's not speciesist because he believes like a fly is as worthy of life as a cow, which I believe too. I believe all beings are as worthy of life as each other, 100%. But the truth is, if you had a baby in a room, or a calf, or a fly, for instance, and you had to kill one of them, you would obviously choose the fly, then the cow, over a baby, right? So we're all kind of speciesists. Like, in that respect, we're going to harm an animal over a baby or a human. And when it comes between creatures and animals, there's people behind me so they can probably hear me speaking about this. Hold on. Sorry about that. When it comes to the differences between animals, like insects, we really need to take into the level of sentience that they have, like their capacity for feeling pain, their understanding of self, their, do you know what I mean? Their emotional intelligence, I guess, like how much they can suffer. And even though I know that insects can feel, I think, well, the consensus is that maybe some of them can't, or that it's like a kind of like an instinct response rather than a feeling pain response to things. The consensus is that insects don't feel as much pain as, for instance, a cow. And I'm just wondering your thoughts on this, because I find this really interesting. Because for me, if there was like a grasshopper or a cow and I had to kill one of them, I would kill the grasshopper. Is that just because the cow can express its pain and suffering more than the grasshopper? Or is it because the cow feels more pain and suffering and experiences more pain and suffering than the grasshopper? I think it's the second one. I think cows, and the consensus is that, we're talking about like the level of sentience here. The consensus is that a cow, a chicken, a dog, a cat can feel and experience more pain and suffering than a fly, a maggot, a grasshopper, for instance. And so we need to take that into consideration, because the level that someone can suffer does matter. And I'm pretty sure that if you put Tim in a room with a grasshopper and a cow and told him he had to kill one of them, he's going to choose the grasshopper, obviously. So, and the fact is that the fields that the cows are in are harvested anyway. So it's kind of a completely invalid point. Plus they're fed grain towards the end of their life, even if they're grass-fed. Plus there's the intent of, it's not just that, the killing of them that is the problem. It's also the breeding them into existence and the suffering they experience with that. Like the abuse, it's abuse. Like even if like a cow or a pig, it doesn't really know what's going on, it's still sexual abuse, and it's abuse of power and sexual energy to effectively rape an animal. They can't consent. They have no way of consenting to what's happening. So you are abusing them. You're abusing them and exploiting them, sexually abusing and exploiting them. That's a level of suffering that's beyond, like that's just a whole other level of suffering and abuse and exploitation, let alone the murdering and the actual killing part. So for Tim to say that he doesn't think he's causing as much suffering and that he's not speciesist, I honestly do feel like he's kind of speaking out of his bottom a little bit and just trying to justify where he's at right now. And yeah. So, but this is an interesting conversation about the level of sentience a creature, a being has. And I definitely don't feel that a grasshopper is less worthy of life than a cow. However, I do believe, and the scientific consensus is, that a grasshopper doesn't feel pain and suffering or experience suffering the same way a cow would. And we do need to take that into consideration, plus the other things I've said. So that's my thoughts on this. I feel like I feel really sad that Tim is trying to convince himself that he's not causing suffering or as much suffering when he is. The other point that he was speaking about was, transporting the exportation and transportation of fruits and veggies and plant foods around the world is causing more, that's worse than what he's doing now. But it's like, look, it's unsustainable it's impossible for everybody to eat grass-fed animals, which is kind of a lie anyway. Like I said, they all get fed grain towards the end of their life. But it's like ridiculous to think that that's sustainable if everybody was to eat that way. And also the damage and destruction that just feeding and rearing and looking after those animals and having those animals on the planet, just that in and of itself is causing a lot more damage to our Mother Earth than the transportation of plant foods. And yeah, there are things that we can be doing better when it comes to harvesting crops and the transportation of foods, plant foods around the world. Yeah, we can improve on that. But to try and justify eating animals based on those things just is silly, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any actual sense. Well, to me it doesn't. So to me it's like, well, you are causing more suffering and more damage by eating animals. Like, there's no two ways about it. You're causing more suffering and more damage, and it's intentional, and that does matter. Like, intent matters. And also, like, I'm not being funny, but when you walk through a field, when you're walking through a field, like I just did walk through a field, any little creatures, any grasshoppers and things like that, they get out the freaking way. Like, a mouse will run out the way. Like, they can hear and sense and feel the vibrations of a freaking combine harvester, or whatever they're called, way before it gets to them. So there's a lot less accidental deaths than what people think. So yeah, of course, like, all beings are worthy of life, but come on, we have to consider the level of sentience of animals. We have to consider that and cause the least amount of suffering. Surely to cause the least amount of suffering would be to, if you're going to harm something or kill something, would be to kill and harm the things that don't experience pain and suffering as much. So, and like I said, the point is that those fields are still harvested anyway, those cows are still fed crops anyway, plus the suffering of what happens to breed them into existence in the first place. It's not right. It is not right. That is not right to sexually abuse and exploit innocent beings when they can't consent. No way are they wanting that. You know, they suffer. So it's crazy. That's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. There's probably other videos about this that I haven't seen, and like other people talking about this. It's probably been a topic of conversation and discussion for a very long time. I'm fully aware of that, but I don't have time to be looking into other people's videos and stuff. So that's my thoughts. So let me know what you think and if this makes sense. Yeah, and obviously, like, please be respectful and nice in the comments and empowered. Like, this space, I want this channel to be a space for empowered communication, conscious communication. If there's any crappy comments, I will just be deleting them because I don't have time for that kind of thing. Like, if you have a point, and you feel passionate or you feel angry about anything I say, then don't become that emotion. Don't become anger. Just express, hey, I feel angry about this and this is why. Or, hey, I don't agree with you on this and this is why. Or, hey, I don't think you considered this. Like, just let me know. Just be nice, yeah? There's no need for drama. There's no need for toxic communication between us. I'm like totally open to having conversations and discussions and hearing what you have to say. I would love that. So yeah. Okay, my lovelies, I'm going to go now and I will see you in my next video. I love you lots. Bye. Mwah.